Kid Rock, tell us it's not so. I mean, what happened to the guy that was so angry with Bud Light? He did that whole stunt that went viral on social media. Remember this? The bum, 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 bum to the cans?
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible.
That's what I'm talking about. What happened to that guy? You know, we kind of liked that guy. Well, that guy may have had a change of tune. You know, I reported on this a couple months ago, and you guys were like, no, Trish, that's not a Bud Light can in that picture. Guys, can we show this picture? Because we have two pictures. And this stuff was all over the internet. And I was like, I wonder if Bud Light has paid him some kind of endorsement deal. And somebody took a photo while he was there at that concert and then leaked it to the media to somehow make it be known that Bud Light and Kid Rock might not have as rocky a relationship as you thought. And you guys were like, no, couldn't be true, right? Like, he wouldn't do that. I was like, well, I don't know, maybe if they pay him enough money. Now, I don't know if they paid him anything, but he's now coming around. I want you to see this interview that he just did with our friend Tucker, who just started his own thing, the Tucker Carlson Network. Let's watch.
Yes, it was a mistake. So do I want to hold their head underwater and drown them because they made a mistake? No, I think they got the message. Like, hopefully other companies get it too. But, at the end of the day, I don't think the punishment that they've been getting at this point fits the crime. It's like, I would like to see people get us back on board and become bigger, because that's the America I want to live in.
So that's it? You're willing to totally forgive him? Kid Rock? I don't know if the rest of the conservative community is willing to come around. I mean, we know that UFC came around, right? Dana White, he's totally like on board with Bud Light, but there's $100 million at stake. There's a reason, in other words. The UFC just signed a $100+ million deal with Bud Light. So Bud Light's going to be advertised at all these UFC things. And so, of course, Dana White, who runs UFC, is like, sure, I love Bud Light. I love Bud Light so much. In fact, he thinks it's now the most patriotic thing in the world to drink Bud Light. He's being paid, of course, to say that. Let's watch him. Actually, interestingly, also I'm wondering when Tucker's going to get the deal with Bud Light. He doesn't drink, so that might not work. But anyway, let's see Dana White, who runs UFC, talking Bud Light.
I'll tell you what, if you consider yourself a patriot, right? You're a patriot, you should be drinking gallons of Bud Light. Believe me when I tell you.
Wait. I should be boycotting Bud Light.
Gallons of Bud Light. You should have Bud Light drums stacked up in your garage and drinking it right out of the keg. They are way more aligned with you than most of these other beer companies are. That I guarantee you. Take it from somebody who's in the know, who does business with beer companies. You are way more aligned with Bud Light than you are with any other beer company.
I mean, they didn't come into partnership with you by accident.
Well, that's a heck
obviously
of an endorsement. I mean, he's saying they are way more aligned with you than any other beer company. And look, he is a trusted guy. He's such a trusted guy that the crowd went wild when he showed up at Fight Night, Madison Square Garden, with none other than quite a cast. We're talking the former president of the United States, who, if you look at these polls, might be the next president of the United States, Kid Rock, and Dana White there. Look at all together, the crowd back in town, with Mick Ultra behind them. That'll be replaced soon by Bud Light. So you see that, everybody's cheering. This is a conservative crowd, obviously, right? Given the former president's presence, Tucker Carlson, Kid Rock. And now you people saying, hey, we're back on the Bud Light bandwagon. Money talks. And I don't know whether or not Kid Rock has done a deal, but his buddy is Dana White, and Dana White did a deal. In fact, apparently, the other beer in contention for this gig was actually Modelo. So Modelo had the spot. Modelo is a rival beer company. That would be Molson So there's AB InBev, Anheuser-Busch InBev, which is not really an American beer company anymore, let's be honest. I mean, it's a combo of like a Brazilian beer company and a European beer company. And then they took the name Bud. That's the ticker symbol, by the way, Bud. And there's like zillions of beers under that label for AB InBev. And they took the headquarters out of St. Louis. They moved it up to New York City, and everybody that worked in the marketing department was like, you know, foofy New York City Harvard types. The guy who runs the place is actually a Harvard grad. All the marketing people were Harvard people. And I just have to, you know, nothing against Harvard. Actually, I have a lot against Harvard. We'll save that for another day, another time. You've heard my rants against Harvard and these Ivy League places right now with their woke insanity. But you have that woke insanity crowd running your business, and all of a sudden, the business doesn't seem to matter anymore. And you go out and you hire influencers that really aren't, shall we say, in keeping with the brand, and you run into problems. I mean, do we have to see this again? We probably should, at least a little snippet of it.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport.
Just a little something. So you know what's amazing is what happened to the stock price after that little incident. It was just incredible. In fact, I'm going to pull up some of this right now because I want you to think about this. I mean, the latest sales numbers we've seen, the company is still struggling pretty significantly with Bud Light sales to distributors off some 30% from where they would typically be. And so that's kind of a problem. And then when you consider where Bud, which is the ticker symbol, its stock price really has fallen to, that's also very considerable. I mean, talking trillions of dollars in market value that have been wiped out. Now, some of that has recently sort of recovered. I want to actually look at it on the 1-year chart basis. And so when I look at it versus where it was a year ago, it's actually pretty amazing, guys. It's like somebody kind of like got word. I'm trying to think of the timing of what, I don't think that they signed that deal with Dana White until actually early November. Actually, no, I take that back. It was in October, late October. And so if you look at how the stock price has rallied since late October, it's pretty significant. It's not quite back to where it was on March 30th. Or even April 3rd of 2023, it was trading actually near $67 a share, but it's still at $62.51 a share. So yeah, I get it. It's still way down, but you can see off the lows that it saw earlier in the year, right before it did that deal with Dana White and UFC, it was trading, this was bad, like down around $53. So it's rallying back. Is this enough? When you start getting, say, UFC, Dana White, Kid Rock, maybe Tucker, although like I said, I don't think he drinks, is endorsing your brand, will that bring back your everyday conservative? I still think the answer is no.